So, this is going to be another one of those long ramble videos. Because I suppose I've been vlogging a bit more than actually going out and doing the videos that I used to do. But I do have a trip planned for this weekend where I will be doing a few more videos like that. So the first thought on my mind is I'm a little bit angry because my truck was broken into. Now when I say broken into, I left my truck unlocked. I'm not used to having to lock my truck every time I get out of it. Because I've lived in different cultures in the US where people don't go through neighborhoods checking for unlocked doors, and they certainly don't go up onto people's driveways to check people's cars for unlocked doors just to rob whatever's inside the vehicle. So when I moved here, my brother, he told me that in the spring, when everything warms up and the snow melts, that there are bands of people who must be checking all the cars in every neighborhood. And he said that when his car was broken into and all the CDs were stolen out of it, the next night he could hear a whole bunch of car alarms going off in the next neighborhood. And he believes that they are going neighborhood to neighborhood, and they actually have a pattern to this. Like, you know, once they've checked one neighborhood, they know that it's kind of dry, so the next night they'll go to the next neighborhood. So I had my truck violated. I was robbed of all of my spare change. And some people know that I'm not a smoker. Some of you know that. So my smoking tray pretty much is always filled with change. And also I had a cup holder that was filled with change in the center console, and it was pulled out of the center console, broken out, presumably so that they could just dump all the change into something. And that's all they stole. I had an inverter, I had a tom-tom, you know, I had a thumb drive in my stereo system. They didn't take any of that. They were just looking for my spare change. So I've been steaming about that a little bit. It happened the night before last. I had this kind of a fantasy of wanting to, you can't like electrocute your car door handle, you know, and just wait for somebody to try to break in and zap, you know, and kill them dead with an electric shock. You know, that's I'd never be able to get that done anyway. I don't have enough motivation, but you know, it's a bit, I'd say, a bit much of a punishment. But I did have this other fantasy of super gluing a $5 bill to the trigger on a rat trap, and then hiding half of the rat trap underneath like a tissue paper or something, and then leaving it on the center console, so that when it's dark and they go through the neighborhood and they check all the doors and they find my door unlocked and they look in there, they see the $5 bill and then reach in and I break a few of their fingers. So I shared this fantasy with my brother, and he told me that I can't do anything like that because the law is against people on that. It's illegal to make a man trap. And you know, there was a burglar who broke into someone's house and broke their Christmas ornaments knocked over Christmas ornaments from the Christmas tree, and he cut his foot on the glass from the broken ornaments, and somehow successfully sued the family for, cutting his foot on the broken glass. I don't have any citations for this story. This is word of mouth shit, but it does kind of make sense that that's where we're heading in America. So I talked to him a little bit more about this, and he said he was thinking about putting up this surveillance system, and I was like, cool, and he showed me it, and it's awesome, and we just have to install it. But we have to be secretive about it, because guess what? There's one of those neighborhood associations that actually think that it's wrong for you to have a surveillance camera pointed from your house outward, because you'd be, videotaping parts of the rest of the neighborhood. So if this neighborhood association were to figure out that we were planning to put surveillance on our own front yard in order to capture what's probably neighborhood children, neighborhood adolescents breaking into cars, if we were trying to protect our stuff with cameras, it's our own stuff, they might tell us to take the cameras down because it might be invading other people's privacy, and it might be against some kind of association rule for prettiness of houses. So immediately my mind's back on the rat trap and breaking their fucking fingers for stealing my change and ripping out my cup holder. But again, I can't do that. So we're going to surreptitiously install a surveillance system. Yeah. So, next thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, my failure. So, a couple days ago I made a video saying that Bionic Dance was failing to rally the troops, but, I'm kind of failing at it myself, because my 40 days for footage contest is more than halfway over, and no one has made any submissions whatsoever. I had a few people say that they were interested, but no submissions thus far. So I guess I'm pretty much alone in this, and it sucks, really. I've only got 550 subscribers or so right now, and I guess I just don't have enough subscribers in order to run a contest like I did. All I really want people to do is go to places where I even give them directions. The video that I did announcing the contest, it had basically 400 different locations in the U.S. and overseas, and just about all of my subscribers live next to one of these protests, and I just want people to go out and film it or take pictures and make a slideshow, But I'm failing, and I'm not afraid to admit that I'm failing. I saw Together for Peace with 15,000 subscribers make a challenge to atheists to pwn Thunderfoot, and he only got 2 people. And I was going to be the third, but I thought twice about it because, his name is Together for Peace, and he's promoting infighting among atheists. if I had worked it out in my head by the time his contest was over, I might have done it. It's not like I didn't criticize Thunderfoot after his contest. I was a little bit inspired by Antediluvian making a video. It had nothing to do with my contest, but they had a protest of the 40 Days for Life protest in his neck of the woods in Australia, and I thought that was pretty cool. So at least there's somebody else out there who knows that this is going on. And I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. You know, I might actually get some submissions. I mean, the prizes are still up there, you know, up for grabs. And maybe next time around I'll have even bigger prizes to give out. You know, maybe I should save up for bigger prizes. Maybe I should just get more subscribers. I don't know. But am I fazed by this? No. I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing, because everyone, you know, encounters a little bit of failure before they get some success, you know. I think I've done a pretty good job of giving examples of what footage for my contest would look like if someone were to actually get some. I mean, I've done that. This is my second 40 Days for Life campaign that I've been putting a spotlight on and showing people how, you know, horrible things are on the ground level for this organization. You know, that their press for the international organization looks really good on their website, but when you look at the ugly posters of dead, aborted fetuses, you know, that they're pointing at people, it's a lot different when you see things on the ground level. So, what else? And we're going to close this. I guess the last thing I have to talk about is Inventor Gorilla's video about what is the atheist agenda. And it runs into some of this other stuff that I'm talking about. Like, he says that there's no point in us arguing. We're never going to change anyone's mind. Well, I have changed people's minds before. And what are some other things he says in it? Well, he thinks that the past 30 or 40 years of research into abiogenesis not providing any evidence that we can create cells in the same way that the Earth had billions of years to do. He thinks that that's proof that it's never going to happen. Apparently. So he's completely sure that just that amount of research is good enough, and we shouldn't even look into it anymore. And to that, all I have to say is the Wright brothers were told that no one would ever fly, you know, and if you look at some of their failures, they're pretty funny. We fly today, you know, and it's because they kept on, you know, in the face of people like Inventor Gorilla who were like, case closed. And also, it's like, you know, us atheists, we're not married to any scientific theories as part of our belief system, you know. It's not like because we don't believe in his God, we have to believe in evolution, abiogenesis, the Big Bang, anything, you know. Not believing in his God is completely separate from that. Now, evolution and the Big Bang have been used as arguments against some of the scientific bullshit in the Bible, but people can have completely different reasons for not believing in the Bible. Such as they just weren't convinced by any argument from the Bible. You know, they didn't see enough evidence for the existence of his God. So, yeah, I'm just, I don't feel like arguing with him right now. It was a long video. And there was a lot wrong in it. So, did he convince me with that video that I should quit doing what I'm doing? No. I might be tired of arguing with him, but I still think what I'm doing is good. And I can tell you something that actually did motivate me. I got another email from the Beaumont 40 Days for Life campaign, and I will remember this because it's the last thing I'm going to say in this video. I'm going to put the entire email in the description so you can read it, but it's about how a air conditioning company showed up at a women's health clinic that they're protesting, and the air conditioning company was told by the protesters that abortions happen inside that building. And they were able to convince them to go inside and tell the people inside that they had, reasons, personal reasons, but that they were not going to fix their air conditioning because they do abortions. And a plumber showed up, and the plumber was not swayed by the protesters. He went in and did his job, and he had to do some work outside, and one of the protesters approached him, and the plumber did not break to pressure. He did not bend to them, saying, hey, do you know there's abortions going on in there? You shouldn't be working on their stuff, And because they have the right to try to tell people to deny services to them, to the clinic, these protesters, they get bold in the southern states, bolder than they are where I live now, because the ones where I live now, they have the bubble law where they're not allowed to go within like 100 feet of the clinic anyway. So down south, they're still very invasive in their protests. And so they didn't convince the plumber, but they took the plumber's information, like what business he was working for and everything, and they're willing to disseminate this information to anyone who doesn't want to ever have their money going to this plumber who worked on the toilets in the abortion facility. So anyone who touches this facility, I guess, if their business helps out this facility, they are now going to be pariahs in their community, and they will be boycotted because they were doing their job, and they decided to do business with a completely legal clinic that's doing things that are completely legal. But that's how things go down south. And you can read the rest of the email in the description. I particularly like the part where they notice that a lot more of the clinic's operations are going on at night when the protesters, they want to go home at like 7 o'clock, but the clinic will keep itself open later, and then they say, well, the devil does his work in the darkness, And to that, all I have to answer is that it seems that evil people do most of their work during the daylight hours. So that's all I have for this ramble. It's probably pretty fucking long. If you can, check out my video that was all about my 40 Days for Footage contest, and see if you live anywhere near one of these places so that you can get me some footage of some of the madness. Till next time.